am. Thank
Everybody, please join me in giving a really warm welcome to Mike Haverkamp.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Well, I've got my instruments here. We'll sing some songs together. We'll tell some stories. This is all part of what's called Weber Days. And Irving Weber was a person who lived in Iowa City for quite a long time. And he was interested in Iowa City and Iowa City history. And that was just sort of a side interest of his. Do you know what his job really was? He was an ice cream man. He worked for Quality Dairies, the Quality Check Dairy System. So that's why anytime there's an Irving Weber event, they always serve ice cream, because he's an ice cream guy. Well, I want to start off with a really, really, really old song. And the thing about my songs, even though they're old, I think you will like them. And the thing about my songs is there's always a sing-along part, and it's always easy. All you have to do to sing this song is agree with me. Can you all go, uh-huh? That's all you have to do is to go, uh-huh. Let's try that once more. Uh-huh. All right. This is a song about a frog who falls in love with a mouse, and they decide to get married. Very, very strange song. And your part is to go, uh-huh. It's called Froggy went a courtin'. Frog went a courtin', now he did right, uh-huh. Frog went a courtin', now he did right, uh-huh. Frog went a courtin', now he did ride, sword and a pistol by his side, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Now he rode on down Miss Mousie's door, uh-huh. He rode on down to Miss Mousie's door, uh-huh. Well, he rode on down to Miss Mousie's door, where he'd been many times before, uh-huh. Uh-huh. He put Miss Mousie on his knee, uh-huh. Put Miss Mousie on his knee, uh-huh. He put Miss Mousie on his knee, and he said, Miss Mousie, won't you marry me? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Well, I have to ask my Uncle Rat, uh-huh. I'll have to ask old Uncle Rat, uh-huh. I have to ask my Uncle Rat and see what he's gonna say about that, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Next part of this song is about all the wedding guests they invited to their big wedding, to the dance, and the one uninvited guest. You'll have to figure out who that is. Well, the first one there was a bumblebee, uh-huh. First one there was Bumblebee, uh-huh. Now the first one there was the bumblebee. He had his banjo on his knee, uh-huh. Uh-huh. And the next one in was a little bitty flea, uh-huh. Next one in was a little bitty flea, uh-huh. Next one in was a little bitty flea. Dance a jig for that bumblebee, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Here's what they dance to. Next one in was the big old cow, uh-huh. Next one in was the big old cow, uh-huh. Next one in was the big old cow. Wanted to dance, but he didn't know how, uh-huh. Uh-huh. Last one in was the old tomcat, uh-huh. That last one in was the old tomcat, uh-huh. He's the uninvited one, right? Last one in was the old tomcat now. He gobbled up the mouse and he growled at the rat. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. I forgot to tell you, these old songs don't always have happy endings. That was the end of him and her, uh-huh. That was the end of him and her, uh-huh. That was the end of him and her. There won't be any tadpoles covered with fur. Ha-uh, ha-uh, ha-uh. Let's do that part again. Ha-uh, ha-uh, ha-uh. Yeah, nice job singing. Song written by somebody that used to live here in Iowa City named Greg Brown. Greg Brown, yay. Greg Brown is known for writing the Iowa Waltz and a lot of other great, beautiful songs. And even though I really like this one, I don't think I would ever call this one beautiful. I do have to warn you, this is kind of a PG-13 song even. It's got graphic violence. But it's about an animal, so it's in my animal thing, so we'll make it work. It's called Four Wet Pigs. Here's a little song about four wet pigs, just a little song about four wet pigs. Two are little and two are big, they danced all night at the Mudtown jig. Two are little and two are big, danced all night at the Mudtown jig. Seems safe so far, doesn't it? Well, the two that were little ears of corn. The two that were bigger than a barn and tall as a tree. Send them on down to the factory, bigger than a barn and tall as a tree. Send them on down to the factory. I gotta tell you, you talk about sending pigs to the factory in Iowa, and a lot of people have a pretty good idea what happens. True story. I was playing in Detroit, Michigan at a school. I sang, "Send them on down to the factory," and you know what the kids there said? "Do you put them to work?" No, here's what happens. This is kind of the PG-13 part. Cut them into bacon, slice them into ham, chop them into hot dogs, squeeze them into Spam, roll their little eyes out in the rain. Now you pickle their feet and you pickle their brain. Roll their little eyes out in the rain. Well, you pickle their feet and you pickle their brain. Ugh. Now you got to understand, you sing "pickle their feet and pickle their brain" to a gym with 700 kids in it, and they're going, "Oh, gross! Oh, sick! Oh, sing that part again." So we do. Cut them into bacon, slice them into ham, chop them into hot dogs, squeeze them into Spam, roll their little eyes out in the rain. Now you pickle their feet and you pickle their brain. Roll their little eyes out in the rain. Well, you pickle their feet, pickle their feet, pickle their feet, and pickle their brain. Yeah. Ew. Gross. Yuck. Moral of the story. Here's a little song about two wet pigs standing at the slop trough smoking on their cigs, hoping by gosh that they never get big, so they dance all night at the Mudtown jig. Just a hoping by gosh that they never get big, so they danced all night at the Mudtown jig. Dance, you little porkers.